There is a prayer so powerful that when offered with genuine intention for just 21 seconds, it can begin to completely transform your reality in only 24 hours. Love, abundance, clarity, opportunities. Everything starts to fall into place when you tune into the right frequency. But there is one essential detail. Don't tell anyone about this prayer until you feel the first signs of change. Silence is part of the secret. When you keep this energy to yourself, you create a pure vibrational field, shielded from external doubts. In this video, you'll discover exactly how to activate this power, why it works, and how to make this practice part of your life, and more. At the end, you'll receive the complete, fully developed prayer, ready for use. But first, write in the comments, "I manifest in silence." This will be your first declaration of commitment to the transformation that is about to begin. Jacobo Grinberg, one of the greatest scholars of human consciousness, devoted his life to understanding how the mind shapes reality. His research revealed something many still resist accepting. The world we live in is not fixed, but rather a projection of our mental field. According to him, there is a neuronal field that connects everything and everyone, an invisible network where thoughts, beliefs, and intentions take shape and materialize as experiences. This field doesn't respond only to what we think, but to what we feel and deeply believe. That is why truly felt prayers possess such immense power. When you speak with emotion, with faith, and with focus, your vibration aligns with a higher frequency, and the field responds. Modern science has already proven that the brain, in states of deep relaxation, such as at the onset of sleep or during conscious prayer, enters specific brainwave patterns, theta, in which the subconscious mind is more receptive to suggestion. It is in this state that miracles are sown. The prayer you'll learn today was carefully constructed based on this understanding. This is not superstition, but rather a vibrational formula for personal transformation, grounded both in spirituality and in neuroscience. Silence is an underestimated spiritual force. In many ancient traditions, it is seen as an invisible shield, a vibrational field that protects the sacred while it is still gestating. When we speak too much about something that is still being formed, like a desire, a prayer, or a dream, we risk contaminating it with external energies that are not aligned with the same frequency. That is why the secret of the 21-second prayer is not to share it with anyone until the first signs of manifestation begin to emerge. This silence is not fear nor insecurity. It is spiritual intelligence. When you pray with true intention and keep this practice to yourself, you create a protected energetic field where your connection with the divine remains undisturbed. Every time we verbalize our desires to someone else, we open the door to judgment, skepticism, or worst of all, doubt. Even if the other person says nothing, their vibration can collide with ours. And since God responds to what we feel, that interference can hinder the flow of manifestation. Grinberg explained that reality is shaped from internal perceptual fields. He stated that every human being projects outward what they believe to be true. So, when you keep your prayer to yourself, you preserve the purity of that projection. You are not sharing it with minds that may not yet be ready to accept this truth, and thus you keep your frequency intact, free from distortions caused by others' limited viewpoints. There is also a powerful psychological factor in this process. By not telling anyone, you are telling yourself and God that you trust. You do not need external validation. You are not waiting for someone to say, "This will work," in order to believe. Silence then becomes a declaration of absolute faith. It represents spiritual maturity, focus, and commitment. Moreover, silence helps nurture genuine emotion, which is the fuel of prayer. When you speak repeatedly about your desires, but without authentic feeling, they lose strength. They become empty phrases. But when you keep the desire within you, nourishing it with gratitude and silent expectation, it grows strong. like a seed germinating out of sight of the world. Finally, there is the beauty of mystery. The sacred loves the hidden, the invisible, the unspoken. That is why miracles, when they happen, often arise unexpectedly. They do not crave the spotlight. And this 21-second prayer is above all an intimate, personal, subtle invocation that blossoms much more powerfully in the fertile ground of silence. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract miracles naturally, while others live in cycles of scarcity, no matter how hard they try? The answer does not lie in effort, luck, or moral deserving. It lies in vibration. Everything in the universe is energy in motion, including your thoughts, emotions, and words. When you emit a vibration that is in harmony with what you desire, doors begin to open, often in less than 24 hours. That is the key behind the 21-second prayer. It tunes you to the frequency of what you want to receive. Imagine the universe as a great radio station. You do not hear all the songs at once. You hear only the frequency you are tuned to. If your vibration is stuck in fear, doubt, or need, you will pick up more experiences that resonate with that. But if you tune in to faith, gratitude, certainty, and love, the universe responds immediately, because that is the language it understands. The 21-second prayer was designed precisely to raise your frequency quickly and accurately. Its words carry vibrational codes. Each phrase is an energetic activation, but the secret is not just reciting the words mechanically. It is in feeling, in visualizing, believing, breathing each phrase as if it were already reality. When that happens, your vibrational field aligns with that of manifestation, and at that moment, the portals open. Grinberg taught that what we call reality is merely a projection shaped by the mind. There is no fixed reality. What exists is a network of possibilities, which collapses into a single experience based on the dominant vibration of the observer. If your mind is vibrating fear, the network collapses into a reality of scarcity. If it is vibrating confidence, love, and worthiness, reality reorganizes to reflect that. That is the true miracle, a silent but real energetic reorganization. By practicing the prayer with focus and an open heart, you activate this mechanism. Then synchronicities appear, unexpected messages, unlikely encounters, brilliant ideas, subtle opportunities you might not have noticed before. In many cases, results begin with small signs. But when you recognize these signs and respond with gratitude, the flow intensifies. In just 24 hours, the universe can do so much for one who is vibrating in the right tune. Vibration does not lie. The universe does not respond to what you say you want, but to what you feel you already have. That is why this prayer is an inner preparation to receive, not a plea, but an affirmation of certainty. When you vibrate as if you are already living your answer, it manifests. And in that state, the impossible becomes a matter of time. Few understand the power they hold when they speak a simple phrase with intention. Even fewer comprehend how in just 21 seconds it is possible to alter an entire mental programming that has governed their lives for years. But when you access the subconscious mind correctly, that short space of time is enough to plant a new reality. That is the principle behind the prayer you are learning. It does not speak to your logical mind, but to the deepest, most creative part of your being, the subconscious. The subconscious mind is like fertile soil. Everything that is repeated with emotion and focus is planted there, and sooner or later, it germinates into experience. The problem is that throughout life, we plant negative beliefs without realizing it. I can't do it. Nothing ever works for me. I only succeed through great effort. These phrases become invisible codes that control your decisions, emotions, and consequently your reality. If you want to change your life, you need to change these codes, and the gateway is the right moment with the right vibration. Grinberg studied the power of perception deeply and asserted that objective reality does not exist in the way we think it does. What we call the world is filtered and shaped by the individual perceptual field, and this field is largely dominated by the subconscious. Therefore, changing your life starts by changing the content that this field carries. That is where the 21-second technique comes in. When you pronounce a focused prayer with emotion and presence for a brief span of time, you create a direct impact on the subconscious. It is like a pure command, without distractions, without mental noise. Even more so if done in a state of light relaxation, such as right before sleeping or just upon waking. In these conditions, the brain operates in slower waves, mainly theta, where the conscious mind steps back and the subconscious takes control. And in this window, reprogramming happens. That is why the prayer does not need to last long minutes. It only needs to be intentional, felt, and repeated truthfully. In 21 seconds, you can tell the universe much more than in hours of anxious requests. Because the subconscious does not respond to time, it responds to the vibrational quality of what is inserted. And when this new information is planted, a silent internal process begins. The mind starts to seek experiences that confirm that new truth. Your mental filter system, the RAS, reticular activating system, begins to highlight situations that previously went unnoticed. Small shifts in perception create great behavioral transformations, and with that, the external reality begins to change. It is a domino effect that starts with just 21 seconds of decision. The 21-second prayer is a spiritual code. It is not just a sequence of pretty phrases, but rather a powerful invocation built to elevate your soul into God's presence, align your faith with divine action, and prepare your heart to receive. Each word was chosen with deep intention, activating a new spiritual identity in you and opening the channels for God's grace to manifest freely. Here is the complete prayer. Lord, I place myself now in your presence. I acknowledge that I am light because I was created by you, who are eternal light. I align myself with your love and your abundance, knowing that everything I need is already being provided by your hands. I invoke your wisdom and your protection over my life, so that my steps are always in accordance with your will. I trust fully that you are already working in my favor, opening paths, creating encounters and miracles, even when I do not see. I surrender all my fears, doubts, and resistances to you. Purify me completely and strengthen in me the faith that moves mountains. I now visualize, with the eyes of my soul, every blessing I have already received, and I feel deep gratitude for all that you are achieving. Thank you, my God, for hearing my prayer, for loving me without limits, and for guiding my life with perfection. I praise you, I thank you, and I entrust to you all my desires. I know that the best is already on its way. Amen. Each line of this prayer has a precise spiritual function. By beginning with surrender and acknowledging God as the source, you already place your soul in the correct posture, one of humility and trust. When you say, I align myself with your love and your abundance, you step out of a scarcity mindset and position yourself as a child who inherits the Father's promises. By invoking wisdom and protection, you establish that your journey will not be guided by ego, but by divine direction. In the part where you surrender your fears and doubts, the moment of greatest release occurs. Fear blocks, but trust unlocks the flow of grace. Visualization, done with the eyes of faith, invites the miracle into your life even before it manifests. Gratitude, then, seals the prayer with the certainty that God has already heard. This prayer is short, but it is alive. When done with an open heart, it becomes a portal between your current reality and the manifestation of God's will in your life. Often we hear phrases like, the universe is conspiring in your favor, or the universe responds to your vibration. These expressions have become common in personal development and contemporary spirituality, but it is essential to understand a deeper truth. When we speak of the universe, we are referring, albeit indirectly, to the living action of God. The universe has no will of its own. It is not a separate entity. It is creation. And all creation reflects, obeys, and manifests the will of the Creator. God is the origin of everything that exists. Every star, every molecule, every beat of the human heart, all operate within an order that He established. The Bible reminds us, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of His hands." So, when someone says the universe is responding, what is really happening is that God's will, which permeates all things, is expressing itself through the laws He Himself created. That is why, when we pray and repeat a declaration of faith with sincerity, we are not merely accessing energy or frequency. We are connecting with the divine intelligence that sustains the entire universe. And the conscious repetition of this prayer is neither superstition nor magic. It is faith in action. It is the intentional use of the word, created by God, to cooperate with His plan for our lives. Daily repetition, done with the heart, becomes a gateway of transformation because it restructures our interior to live what God has already prepared. Jesus said, "If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you." To remain is to repeat, to declare, to live in constant alliance with the promise. Each time you repeat this 21-second prayer with true faith, you are strengthening your spiritual identity. You are reaffirming your trust in God. You are training your mind to think as someone who already believes, and over time, this habit transforms into a state of mind. You begin to live with more peace, more direction, more clarity, because your mind is already tuned to the presence and provision of the divine. Repetition is the instrument that turns prayer into a lifestyle, not as something automatic, but as a daily reminder of who you are in God and of what He has already declared regarding you. It is not about convincing God to act, but about aligning your interior with the reality He has already released. When prayer becomes a constant practice, you not only speak with God, you begin to walk with Him. And that is the greatest gateway anyone can cross, living each day in unity with the Creator who made the universe and loves you immeasurably. Now that you have received this prayer, understood its power, and learned how to apply it with awareness and faith, the most important moment has arrived, putting it into practice. Do not wait for a perfect environment, an extraordinary sign, or ideal motivation. Everything you need is already inside you, because God has already equipped you with everything necessary to live the transformation you seek, just 21 seconds a day. That is your commitment. Set aside this brief time in silence, surrender your heart, and recite the prayer with full presence, as if you were standing before God Himself, because you are. Feel each word as truth. Live each phrase as destiny. God hears every sincere prayer and responds in His perfect timing with divine precision. Do not let this moment pass without a concrete step. Write in the comments, "My faith leads me, and I pray with confidence." This will be your vibrational seal, the confirmation of your new stance. And if this video touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You could be the link that carries this message to those who need it most. May God bless your journey. And remember, the heavens respond when faith moves.